So here we are on the last Shabbat of the year, the penultimate day of the year. So many have made plans for how to spend the holiday. Big parties, small at-home gatherings with friends or family, festive and fancy celebrations here and there. My email has been flooded with restaurants offering special menus, including a champagne toast before midnight. And by now, people have made their plans, or at least made plans to not have plans. I imagine it will not surprise you to hear that I have never been a big New Year's Eve reveler. Most often, we are home watching one of the network specials on TV and then tucked in with the lights off well before midnight Central Standard Time. I have found that one of the great benefits of living in Houston is that we can watch the ball drop in New York and then are done with New Year's Eve an hour early, still while feeling the significance of the night. But you know, even from my cozy place on the couch, I still get that feeling. You know, the feeling of wanting to be close to my family as the new year comes in, calling everyone into the room to share the moment, the transition from one year to the next. There's just something about it. The feeling, that need to reach out to our out-of-town family with messages of good wishes. There is something powerful about the change in the year and the communal rituals that surround it. I cannot listen to Auld Lang Syne without tearing up and feeling emotional, and I'm not really still even sure what it means after Googling the words. As we stand at the threshold of a new year, it just feels so natural to look back while we also prepare to look forward. That feeling of looking back as we look forward is not unique to us. This week's Torah portion captures the power of this experience. In Parshat Vayigash, we continue to read the rich narrative of Joseph and his brothers. At this point in the text, Joseph's true identity remains concealed from his brothers as they stand before him. He had given them food and money to return to his father and had planted a goblet in his youngest brother Benjamin's bag in order for him and them to be tested. When Joseph threatens to detain Benjamin, Judah retorts and offers himself instead, appealing to Joseph that the brothers returning home without Benjamin would kill their elderly father. And it is here that we read in Genesis chapter 45, verse 1, V'lo yachol Yosef lehitapek. Joseph could no longer control himself before all his attendants, and he cried out, "Have everyone withdraw from me," so that there was no one else about when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. His sobs were so loud that the Egyptians could hear, so that the news reached Pharaoh's palace. The power of the moment overwhelms Joseph. Thinking back to his father and imagining the deep grief and loss he experienced and seeing his brothers before him, it was all just too much. The Hebrew word used here, lehitapek, is worthy of consideration because Rashi indicates that it means to refrain himself. But Rabbi Ibn Ezra says that it means to bear. Onkelos, which is the standard Aramaic translation that was used daily by Jews worldwide long after Aramaic ceased to be a living language, however, translates lehitapek as meaning to strengthen himself. This choice is bolstered by the fact that every other form of lehitapek is likewise an expression of strengthening. It's powerful to consider that when Joseph feels so overwhelmed by emotion, so compelled by tender thoughts and memories of his father, and seeing his younger brother protected by the older, that he must finally reveal his identity. Our text uses language that recognizes this tremendous emotional moment, not as a failure to refrain or bear what's going on, but rather an inability to strengthen himself. We know Joseph is an ever-resilient character, one who traversed great adversity and rose to the highest heights of leadership just under Pharaoh. Here in this week's Torah portion, Joseph ends the charade. Torah shows us that the always strong Joseph now needs to be strengthened by others. He cannot strengthen himself. Joseph finds strength in becoming vulnerable by allowing himself to just not be so strong for a moment. And it is in this moment that Joseph reveals his true self and his humanity. For many, New Year's Eve is a time to reflect on the past, evaluate and consider how the year has been and where we are. And it's also a time to look forward and consider the ways that we need to strengthen ourselves. Many do this by making resolutions or commitments to healthier living, to mend broken relationships, or just try new things. And the goal is to return to our truest and best selves. For me, my new year will begin with sabbatical, a large and generous break to strengthen and replenish myself. It'll be an amazing gift to have time away from my usual responsibilities at Temple, and while it may seem surprising, even with my sabbatical beginning just days from now, it still doesn't feel real. Many people have asked what I'll be doing, and I have some really nice plans, and I know that equally important to all the things that I've planned is the intentional not doing that will be part of this time. The biggest chunk of my time will be spent learning. I've been accepted to a clergy certificate program at Yeshiva University in gerontology and palliative care. I'm looking to bolster my pastoral skills, the passion of my rabbinate, with the best new practices and up-to-date theory and research in the field. The coursework and resources I will encounter will better equip me to more successfully serve and care for our community in the days ahead. I'm looking forward to volunteering in a deeper and more meaningful way with Memorial Hermann Hospital, where I chair a professional advisory group for clinical pastoral education. I will have time to work closely with the outstanding faculty team that trains hospital chaplains. Together, we will reimagine the makeup and process of the advisory group to better serve and support the program and to recruit a more diverse group of chaplain residents and interns to serve the greater Houston community. And I will return to Israel for a rabbinic conference. It promises to be a time to reconnect with treasured colleagues and friends, to rekindle my love of the land and the people of Israel, and to learn more about the pressing and troubling issues that need our time, attention, and resources. In addition to these scheduled and planned experiences, I plan to travel with family and friends, to take long walks, to make new recipes, and just to breathe and think more slowly and more intentionally. I will miss seeing your faces. I will miss being a part of the flow of this place for a while. It will feel so strange and different to not walk down the halls and schmooze as we encounter one another, to call you on the phone or visit you in the hospital or at your homes, and I will miss sitting with my cherished colleagues. And I feel that this time away will help to recharge my battery, allowing me to engage more meaningful and more soulfully and more completely. Without question, it's extraordinary to have a sabbatical. But what can and should be accessible to everyone, especially at this season, is taking the time to reflect, imagine, and strengthen ourselves. Filling up our bodies and our souls with the koach, the strength and the courage that a new year demands is serious stuff and does not happen unless we do so intentionally. I pray that in these days you will have a chance to do that sacred and important work, that you will fill your cup. I pray that 2023 will be a good year for all of us, that we will have many joyful Shabbatot where we sing and pray together, holidays and festival celebrations, and simchas galore. May we go from strength to strength. Shabbat shalom.